Hi everyone. Hi
Hi.
Amanda.
Hi. Morning. How are you? Can
Oh,
you
good morning.
hear me all right? Yeah, we're just doing video sound checks. Everything looks good. I turned my video on. How are you this morning, this evening?
I'm good. It's 4 o'clock for me.
Oh, nice. A very respectable hour. That's very good. Yeah, nice. Um, do you have any questions or you're all good for today or any
I
thoughts?
am. I do. I just wanted to. I'm trying something out new today. I have normally a worksheet, but I put it up onto a vibe coding app,
Yeah.
and so I have a link to share that I'm hoping everyone will incorporate instead of using the handout. So I'm testing it out today, but I could share both.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, why not? That should be fun.
Yeah.
Whatever works. If it doesn't work, people are usually like, oh yeah, whatever, look, something happens. People are like, oh yeah, whatever. Or if you've got any links or resources that you want to drop in the chat or that I can help share, let me know if while you're talking, if you want me to like give a shout out to anything or and afterwards when we put the recording in school, then we can also put links and resources or anything you want to follow up with in school as well afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like my original worksheet was a Word document and I tried to put it in a PDF, but then it needed to be fillable and I just didn't want to do that. So I kept it for my other workshop that I did do it as a Word document, but I just don't know how great that is. So that's why I converted it to the um, like the web version. So we'll just test it out.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Okay. No, that's cool. Oh, really fun for us this morning. We got a baby who went sick yesterday, and then overnight I'm feeling a bit sick as well. So I'm like, oh
Oh
no,
no.
no.
Oh.
Right when you're like, need to be like amazingly busy and
Ah,
feeling great,
Amanda, like
next minute a winter virus comes and get you. So I'm like, oh no.
I admire your passion and your work ethic. Like there's just so much to do and there's just been so much done. So it's been fantastic. But I feel bad. Like there's just one of you and
Oh, there's so much
whenever
to do. It's insane. I could like work all day and night and just, yeah. Oh my gosh. We're
you're
both.
st you're still so on top of it. Like it's amazing. You.
Yeah, it's so cool. So what I'll do if before I let these people in, what I normally like to do is just kind of kick it off. Hello, everybody. Here's housekeeping. Here's Elle. Um, if you want me to say something about you, or do you like to introduce yourself? It sometimes comes across better in your own words if you like, and then just kick things off. You can share your screen or just start chatting. If you've got something you want to show people, just dive in. And then I get people to drop any notes or thoughts in the chat or put their hand up if they've got a question. If you like questions or want to keep them till the end, we can just tell people that. Um,
Okay.
and then basically just dive in and if there's time for questions at the end, if people have got them. Yeah, how does that sound?
That sounds good. Yeah. I've got a slide to introduce myself and then I normally take questions throughout, as well as at the end.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing is I'm not great at monitoring the chat because I've only got two screens. So yeah, you can
I
just
can
talk.
keep an eye on that. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that and I'll go, oh yeah, we've got a question in here, or I'll just let you know if we've got see anything that
That'd be
happens.
great.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we'll let everybody in and we'll yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi. Hello. Good evening, good morning. Hi guys. Hi, good to see all your lovely faces. How are you? Got some new faces too. Good morning, good evening from wherever you are in the world. Just letting everyone into the room. So excited you can all join us here today for our workshop with Eleanor Wong. From up in Canada. She's one of our regional leads and partners at Shares AI and an incredible AI educator and runs her own business up in Canada, a very busy lady. I'm really excited to have her do our masterclass with us today. Just housekeeping, then I hand over to Al. So anyone that would like to ask a question, drop it in the chat or any thoughts, you can absolutely chat in there or put your hand up if you've got a question for Al, and we can ask questions throughout and at the end as well. I'll try keep an eye on the chat for Al, and we'll just keep it alive in there. I'll kick things off. She'll introduce herself and then dive in. Yeah, let's get ready for an awesome session. And thanks everyone for joining us. Take it away when you're ready, Al.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to share my screen and then I'll put up the.
Yeah, some more people joining the room, more people coming. Welcome, welcome.
Okay. Thumbs up that you can see
Yep,
the.
perfect. Yep.
Fantastic. So, welcome everyone to your AI brand voice. I wanted to start off by acknowledging that I am on the traditional and unceded territory of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people here in Canada who have cared for this land for generations. And I honor their deep connection to this place and the many ways that they have continued to shape our shared history and future. I am a third generation settler living on stolen land, so I am deeply committed to unlearning the harmful narratives and actively relearning with respect, curiosity, and deep appreciation for the Indigenous cultures and communities. And I do recognize that today is Juneteenth, so I just wanted to honor the strength and the contributions of the Black communities, especially the descendants of those that were enslaved. So it's just a powerful reminder today of the fight for freedom, justice, equity, and dignity. And I wanted to acknowledge that both Indigenous and Black histories help us see the bigger picture of how colonization and oppression have shaped this land. And it calls on us to do better, to listen, to learn, and to show up for one another in the work of truth, reconciliation, and liberation. So I find it very interesting that I was able to present today on such a insightful day. Okay, so yeah, I definitely wanted to start off with that acknowledgement. And then moving on into the agenda for today, I wanted to give you basically some customized instructions for both ChatGPT and my favorite LLM, Claude. I'll predominantly be using Claude. So just put a Y into the chat where if you're a big user of Claude or if you've used Claude before. And I can't even see the chat, but I will monitor. Great. Okay, so it looks medium Y. Okay. Hi,
Yeah,
Mike.
we got some yeses. Yeah, we got a few good yeses and mediums. I'm a dabbler, but not on any great scale. No, we got a few people.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So the instructions are going to be predominantly based on Claude, but it can be transferred to ChatGPT. So it's not like it's one or none. So we're going to understand what the brand voice fundamentals are, and then we'll create some preferences and preference instructions. I don't think we'll have time today, but there's opportunities to test and refine your preference, and then implement and iterate. So in the chat, there is a couple of links, attachments that were sent. Hopefully, you'll have access to it. It was kind of sent before y'all joined. So hopefully you do have that part of the chat. So just full transparency, I normally have, you see that Microsoft Word document that's attached. Normally that's the worksheet, but I kind of went a little bit, on the edge and vibe coded this worksheet into lovable.dev, which is the link. And so you are all my first beta testers on this. And so I'm crossing my fingers that it'll all work. So it's just basically a web application for the worksheet instead. And you can test on if that export and email function actually really works. Please send me feedback. There we go. Oh, thanks, Amanda. So you said that. Once again, thank you. So I don't think I have to repeat myself on what the benefits of AI are. So for organizations, you can definitely boost productivity, enhance decision making, and increase revenue growth. So it's a significant productivity hack, and a great way to just save time on things that normally take a long time to take. So a little bit about me. I have over 26 years of corporate experience. I facilitate AI leadership change and inclusion workshops. I'm AI obsessed, if you haven't figured that out yet with my vibe coding with the worksheet. And I'm also a certified coach, so I'm a volunteer facilitator for the DEIB team at the International Coaching Federation. I teach cultural competency every couple of months. And of course, I'm so proud. And every time I get to this part, I always have a smile on my face that I am such a proud. She is AI ambassador. And I don't need to explain it to you, but I usually say this to my other workshops about how aligned this organization is and how I just nearly fell off my chair when I found out this organization sort of intersects with my mission and passion of making sure that women have access to AI and are leading AI. So happy I'm here.
Yeah.
Claude.ai. I hope all of you can put that into your browser and bring it up because we are going to be practicing on this today. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview on how I use Claude. So oops. Hopefully you can still see that. So if you're not familiar with it, I mean, it's just like your any other large language model. The benefit behind this is that I find it's a bit more human-like, natural sounding. And I just love these tools here, how you can use different writing styles. So you've got some default styles in there, normal, concise, explanatory, formal, and then you can create ones as well. What we're going to be working on, though, is this sort of, where are we? I didn't realize that there were these new language settings. So we're going to be working on this part. What personal preferences should Claude consider in responses? Okay. So I will get back to the PowerPoint and move on to the rest of the slide. So, yeah, as I said before, Claude has more natural conversation responses, excellent for creative and long form content, whereas ChatGPT is more about, broader features, very strong at technical capabilities, and of course, it's got a wide adopted user base, especially now with the image generation tool. And you may have realized how much slower it is because of everyone jumping on board with ChatGPTs because of the image generation feature. What I also like about Claude is that, it's great for brand alignment for businesses because we can customize styles. We can play around with those tones or and depending on the type of writing or communication that you needed to produce. It's also got a great learning curve. It can mimic your preferred style. And because it becomes easier to use as it produces outputs that's really more familiar, requires less adjustment. Yeah, and then it's always continuous improvements made as with any large language model. Okay, and custom instructions. So these are instructions that are going to be placed in Claude that can shape your responses. And so rather than having to type that in every time you want to put in a query, it automatically applies to all your conversations unless you choose it to not be. So it can be overridden. So it helps maintain consistency of voice across various interactions and you can basically tell AI once how to respond rather than every single time. So here is a little bit of an experiment. If you're in, hopefully you're in Claude, maybe just give Claude a prompt such as write a social media post about our new product launch and just kind of keep that on the side because we're going to figure out what the difference is after we put in some custom instructions. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. And I will do the same in Claude. New chat. Help me write a. And I know I don't have a product launch in particular or product in particular, but we'll see what it comes up with. Oh yeah, so here I've instructed Claude to always ask me questions before proceeding. So I'm just gonna here just say ignore questions. There's a challenge. So I asked it also to be a devil's advocate. So moving on, I'll go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so with the brand voice fundamentals, it's essentially figuring out what your personality is so that you can put your brand in communications. And it basically reflects the values and what your values are, and so that you can have a deeper connection with your audience. And it's kind of different, but very related to the tone. So the difference between brand voice and brand tone is your voice is the consistent personality that you have all the time that you're going to be using across all communications. So it's very stable, it's core to your brand. So examples could be, an authoritative or friendly or innovative or optimistic. So it's a reflection of you, whereas the tone is based on a situation. So it changes on the context as well as your audience, but you're still maintaining your voice. So examples could be celebratory or urgent or empathetic. And so think of it as the voice is who you are, and the tone is how you say different things and how you say things in different situations. So I think there's sometimes maybe nuances, but I think if you think of brand as or the voice as the overall personality. So there's definitely some different dimensions to your voice. You've got your character, your tone, your language, and your purpose, and we're going to go through some of that today. So we're going to find your brand voice, which means to bring up the app version or the paper version of the brand voice worksheet. So oh, I've got it here. And so I mean, there's four different sections. We're likely only going to go through the first two today. The first part is discovering your brand voice. And so we're going to complete part A and all the way down to persona. And I invite you to kind of like not think too deeply or too much about filling this out when you're filling this out. Just kind of like whatever on the top of your head, and kind of just check the ones that kind of come to you without that much thought, because what we're going to do later is to use those adjectives and describe why it matters for you. Yeah, so Christy says the list of adjectives to never describe your brand is awesome. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's something to call out and to be cognizant of, because we definitely don't want that to come across in our communications. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to complete part A all the way down to this reflection part. And then we're just going to have a sharing moment. So give you maybe about 2 to 3 minutes, no right or wrong. And this is obviously an exercise that can be iterated throughout. Some of us don't really know our brands that well, or like can describe our brands, and that's okay. And if you're struggling with deciding which adjective to select, a good question to ask yourself is, how do you want people to feel after interacting with you or your brand? and think of maybe the last couple of customer interactions that went extremely well. Where is this template available? Okay, so it was just a couple of chats above the link or the Word doc. Thank you. I hope you can all access that. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Amanda. As I said earlier, it is a in beta version. And so you're all the first to use it. So it's hard to pick so few. Yeah, I mean, um, I think, the ones that speak to you, and again, no right or wrong. And if you can put it into words of why it matters, that might help a little bit more.
And I got a question. There's three boxes for adjective reflection, but we picked top five adjectives. So I'll just squish my five into the three boxes. Yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah, I think like circling five is fine, and then like trying to decide which three based on why it matters.
three,
Like if you can
seven.
articulate it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So try to nail it down to the top core
Three.
three. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Inspirational, authentic, energetic, ambitious, and visionary. I mean, I see all of this in you, Amanda.
It sounds a bit like, yeah, not my ego, but I those resonate with me, and I always try to come from that space. So that's a easy pick for me, but to narrow that down is sometimes hard.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe good to know. Maybe I can expand on this section of the worksheet. But yeah, I mean, it's great to know and validate that those are, the adjectives that describe you. So I feel like this is like an exercise that everyone should be doing, regardless if it's, about AI brand voice.
And this is
Um,
going to be off brief, but what do you say to people with the objectives that would never describe your brand? Now I'd say, or everyone's like, oh no, absolutely, I wouldn't write like that. But so many brands and people do write like that. So how do we say, oh, guilty of that sometimes? And like it's really good to know how do we don't want to come across, but some people have fallen into that trap, more like brands or agencies, more so than people, but it's
yeah, and the beauty around this is that we can actually instruct AI to not communicate that way. So I know it's like more, more what you're describing is more like human way of creating communications and ads and whatnot. So I think that's why this is pretty important to at least articulate too, is because we can actually embed this into our custom instructions. Okay. I don't know where everyone is with this, but I would love for to hear kind of what your adjectives are, either in the chat or if you want to come off mute. Um, yeah, you can do the same thing as, oh, Christy, that's great. So yours is trustworthy, expert, inspirational, innovative, and creative. And so, Christy, I would love to know, was it hard for you to choose why or to choose your adjectives? Or did you have to was it just
Yeah,
like,
a
oh,
lot of them apply.
yeah.
So, It was kind of a mix. It's kind of like I've already been sharing myself a lot on video and in imagery and stuff like that on LinkedIn and some other channels. So it's like, what have I already been trying to go for? So it's a both. Like I'm the creative AI type, so I can make content for people, and I like to teach it, just like you, which is awesome. So, and by the way, I love the superpowers theme too. That's actually one of my classes I'm doing. That's awesome. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, it's more just, it's like, what do I want to come out no matter what, right? And so I do want the
Yeah,
expertise for sure, and people need to trust me, and then, but it is innovative, right? Like I'm trying to get that bleeding edge technology and keep that in front of people and get them to actually come forward and adopt and learn this stuff. So, um, and then
amazing.
I love to inspire too, right? So it's like I want to inspire people to action. I want them to try to fulfill their dreams. I want them to jump in with both feet on this tech, whether it's for personal use or business use or both, right? Like it unlocks so much for you. So yeah, I just wanted some of that stuff to come through.
You can definitely hear it in your voice as you're talking about it. So I feel like this, the top five can, be emulated in, Claude as well to kind of like really sound you. So this is it makes my heart so warm to hear, such enthusiasm and passion in your voice.
I'm really glad to know you've got a better LLM for this too, because like I
Oh,
use Copilot, which is backed by ChatGPT, and I'm like, I don't like how it writes. I have to rewrite a lot of it because it does not sound like me, even if I feed it other things that I've written and said, like it's still no.
yeah, I love
So,
I love Claude. I
that's
actually
good.
A for Claudette. So, just to be,
I know. Can we change it to a girl? That's a good one, Amanda. We should make sure all the LLM out there offer like a voice mode with
women names.
females.
Yeah. I haven't figured out what's Chad yet though, or Chat GPT, because that's a harder one for a women's name. Thank you for sharing, Christy. Sarah says authentic, visionary, cutting edge, creative, energetic, and bold. Ooh, I can't wait to see what your communications come out with. Van says you can plug in stuff from the brand style guide to help with this process. We have it mapped out for different platforms too. I love the efficiency of this AI brand voice. Plug in stuff from brand style guide. Yes. So in a second or later on, I'm going to show you how to upload either the brand style guide or copies of your written material and ask Claude to evaluate it and analyze it and produce a brand voice for you. Yeah, yes, have absolutely done that to train mine. Authentic. Linda says authentic, playful, approachable, compassionate, and scholarly. I like scholarly. Lori, inspirational, visionary, energetic, friendly, trustworthy. The the knots were yeah, the knots were condescending, pushy, pretentious, and impersonal. Eric says, can you create a custom Claude, like a custom GPT, chat GPT? So I will show you a little bit later what it's called projects. So yes. And Mike says, trustworthy, professional, inspirational, confident, innovative. Love that. Gail, my brand is like loving, wise, feisty older sister. Okay, that wasn't an adjective. That we should add that adjective, I think. Always looking out for your best interests, sharing hard-earned lessons from both triumphs and stumbles, and encouraging you to make bold, brave decisions in pursuit of your dreams. Oh my gosh, that is so inspirational. I love that. Amanda says, yeah, mine is Oprah meets Brene Brown meets Beyonce. Yeah, yeah. So that's your character persona, right? So describe your brand persona. And yeah, Amanda's got it right. Like it's like Oprah and Brene and Beyonce. And why does it meet that? Why does that represent your brand? So you can move on to the next part of the worksheet is your character persona. If your brand was a person,
May
who
I
would it?
ask a question? I'm sorry. My name is Danny. My niche is very emotional. Um, yes and no. I'm a digital artist, and I'm also neurodivergent. Um, so I feel feelings intensely. Um, I'm kind of a pushover, so it's hard for me to say no or give a discount or whatever because I feel what others are feeling. Like my daughter got broken up with a week or not even 5 days before prom, and I cried so hard with her. And like, so if somebody's like crying to me, I'm extremely compassionate, empathetic, but I'm also very, very creative, which works for me in that favor. So I'm like my girl Carrie in her closet because I work with fashion, but I also cry in my closet because I have $40,000 worth of shoes and nowhere to live, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah, I think leading with kind of what you feel is your unique like what your uniqueness is. What is that called? The unique I forgot the word. It's on the tip of my tongue. Unique selling proposition. That's the wrong way
USP,
to say.
unique selling proposition, or
Yeah,
UVP,
unique
unique
selling.
value proposition, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And so, and I feel like, oftentimes we're on different parts of that, how we show up and how we show up differently, depending on the situation, it changes on a day to day. So I don't feel like this is something that's static. You can have different character personas, whatever kind of, you feel like in that day or that moment. So there's no right or wrong. And we can definitely change this up as, we're having, different, as we evolve in our business and, just as humans.
Yeah, my friends call me neurospicy, so
I like that, spicy.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Oh, good. Yeah. And Raquel says, "Oh, I love this. Yes, I have created several personas. I have trained my own AI. I love the personas I have created and I still use some from 3 years ago. Yeah. So they're still, you know, you don't delete them. They just come back and, kind of like fashion, come in and out.
yeah, that's
Uh,
why I do brand, or if you will, photography, because you can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be completely you, or you can be a character.
yeah. Yeah. It's like you're acting sometimes. Yeah. Dawn says her brand personality is trustworthy, expert, inspirational, approachable, never stuffy or arrogant or aggressive. I'm like Sandra Bullock, humble about my talent with a sense of humor and a bit of self-deprecating and a big heart. And I love that. I love that, Dawn. I think you and I are going to be good friends. Anyone else about your persona?
So on the
I,
nose, one of the ones I did list was not being salesy. So it's like it's funny because it really irritates me in other people's content. So I want to make sure, like technically I'm still in business. I'm still trying to win hearts and minds and get people to come sign up for my classes, but at the same time, it's like not being that annoying. Like really, is everything you say an ad? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Good to point that out. Because you want to come across as so authentic too, right? And but also transparent. Yeah. Lisa says the creator meets
I,
Catwoman. Ooh, I love that. Oh, we're a creative bunch here. Sales is on my list and authenticity. Lori says funny. Oops. I look, where am I? I looked at not salesy, but with a few to choose, I changed that to not pushy. Okay. Okay. Where are we here? Okay, fantastic.
I'm I'm still trying to I I'm not sure if I should keep the teacher, I will teach you or train whatever you want type personality. I'm not even sure what to even call that. So
So,
I go ahead.
oh no, no. So are you trying to say you want to use that as an adjective or you don't want to use that?
I'm not sure. Like I have issues trying to identify or classify myself. I already know what I've been doing professionally, but I don't really I'm not sure if not like I don't know who I am or anything, but I'm very new with AI, obviously. I'm still an L&D. I still do learning and development. So I'm still dealing with how to brand myself because I'm still creating something new. And I'm not sure what it really is yet. I have two websites that I have, but I'm not trying to sell anything except my skills
Mhm.
as a learning and development person. So I'm not, I guess I need a coach or something just to kind of, identify me in some way.
Right. Yeah. So there's definitely some work that can be done prior to figuring out your brand. But as I said, even if you put teacher in there, you're testing it out. We're going to have to iterate at the end anyway. So we might have to take that out if the communication sounds better. So at this point in time, let's not think too much about it, about these different adjectives that we're going to use and not use, because it's a work in progress until we find something that we're happy with, and then we're going to change it probably a few months down the road.
But I have a question though. I mean, when you're talking about your persona, you're speaking professionally and not personally, right?
Correct. Yes.
Sorry, that
It's your.
sounds kind of obvious.
Yeah. No.
Go
No.
ahead.
That's okay. The
Hello?
question like that, quite likely someone else does.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on. So you filled out your character persona. So I'm going to go back to the slide deck. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so we're going to work on essentially a framework called role, voice, structure, parameters, and constraints. So the role is, who the AI should embody, like a persona for the AI, for Claudette to embody. And then the voice and tone basically is how the AI should communicate. The structure is how to organize the information. The parameters are the length, depth, and formality. And then the constraints are what to avoid or never do, such as those adjectives, for example. And so I'm just going to show you what mine looks like. And so we're going to strive for something like this. It could be shorter, it could be longer. And I think mine's actually changed since I've shown this in my previous workshop. So we are going to move back to the worksheet, but we're going to go on to page 2, and we're going to work on your identity, voice, structure, parameters, and constraints. So back to the workshop. Oops, where did that go? There we go. Okay, so custom instruction builder step 2. Okay, so yeah, what expert role should the AI embody? So I had put down that I am, basically it should embody like me, my job. So I put down AI educator and business growth coach. You can put whatever you call yourself, whatever your title is, founder or CEO or creative partner. So complete that part, and then what knowledge areas should the AI have? So kind of describe, what you are hoping um, how you can translate what you do into Claudette's expertise. And again, we don't want to think too hard about this. It's just whatever comes off the top of your mind. And then we want to, in here, I just write down, the incomplete sentence, act. So this will be given to Claudette, act as a AI business coach, for example, with expertise in AI education, for example, or what have you. So that goes there. And I think there isn't a spot to do it. So we'll just keep it into the first two buckets there. And then moving on to section 2, this is where we're going to bring in your adjectives from page 1. What were those top 3? And you can put 5 in here, and just list them in, and then just take a moment to think about different contexts and what tone you would like it to adopt. So, for example, right in here, be more empathetic when addressing complaints, or be more excited when announcing new features. And you can keep those as well, just for this demonstration purposes. We can fill those in a little bit later when you've had more time to think about it. Give you some time to complete that part, section 2. Hey, Cassandra. Yeah, so the links to the docs are up above in the chat somewhere. At 4:15, Amanda put it in. No problem, no problem. It doesn't show? Okay. I will just copy and paste from here. I think this should work. Okay, no worries. That's right. If you jump on after the chat, you don't see the chats from before. So there you go. Okay. And then moving on to section 3, how do you want the structure to be organized? I like all of these. Use bullet points for lists, create clearer headings and subheadings, start with a summary or key takeaway, include actual next steps, use examples to illustrate points. So I usually just can check off all 3 or all 5. And then section 4, response parameters. Do we want it to be concise, like only like 1 to 2 paragraphs, more moderate, comprehensive? I like concise. I'm just a concise person. I'm a bit introverted, so which is odd considering I deliver workshops for a living. And then formality, like how formal do you want to be in sort of like your brand conversations across all communications? So I just put neutral. I left it at neutral. We can play around with it later. And then to the last section, constraints. So this is the part where I feel like is really important because we don't want to sound like AI, so we definitely don't want to have jargon or technical terms. I personally don't want to have slang or casual expressions, the negative language, the buzzwords, or lengthy explanations, because again, I'm very concise. And going forward, I will have an option here to say other, where we can add those words that we don't want to, those adjectives that we don't want to have in here. And then so you should be able to have your final custom instructions in draft form, starting with the identity, act as a whatever role you're in, an expert in whichever area, communicate in a friendly, what were some of these? Friendly, authoritative, compassionate voice, and my tone will change based on my tone will be empathetic if someone's complaining, let's say, for example, that sort of thing. And then structure responses in bullet points, for example. We can just use 1 for now, and then keep responses concise and never use jargon, for example. So typically, if you can, I guess this part isn't fillable right now, which I will change. So you can email that report to yourself. But for now, what we could do, because you probably try to fill out as much as possible, we can go to Claude and input the information in the preferences. And I'm going to just share with you mine just to kind of give you a rough idea on sort of like the change. of the before and after that you can input. And if you note here, I'm in Canada, so I make sure I instruct Claudette to use simple, plain language and Canadian English. So that's a big thing for me in sort of my constraints. Okay, so let's go back to Claude. Where's my Claude? There we go. So we had our initial, and of course mine's gonna look different because my instructions, I have my preferences in my instructions with Claude, but hopefully you will see the difference after you put in yours. So go in the bottom left under your profile, go into settings, and then copy and paste your preferences in this part of your profile. Yeah. Mike says no delve. Oh my God, for real. Why does it? Oh, love delve. Okay, yeah. And that long dash. Stop it already. Yeah, definitely put that in there too then. Let's dive in. Yeah, that's a big one. Common AI language. Yeah, so feel free to just input that into this area of Claude. And if you've ever, I guess you've never taken my other AI workshop for beginners, but I always make sure that I have this prompt in here. Always ask me questions until you're 95% sure you can complete the task successfully. Be a devil's advocate and challenge me when necessary. And that's because, as you all know, ChatGPT and other large language models were just, trying to make you happy. So I want to make sure that it's kind of being the other brain of mine and not just agree with everything that I'm doing. And of course, ask me questions because that's a great way to sort of filter and fine tune your queries because they're going to ask, because Claudette will ask you questions that, I mean, you saw earlier questions that will kind of make me think more about my query so that it can personalize and tailor the output a little bit more according to my needs. And Claudette does that by asking me really awesome questions. And so this is just an example of the questions that Claudia asks. So what am I launching? What is the main problem? Who are my primary targets? I mean, this is really good information for Claudette to know so that when it actually can write that social media post, it's more, 1,000 times better than if I didn't give this information. Okay, so how did you get the info in? So Eric says, how did you get the info to Claude? Um, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Eric. Did you want to come off mute?
Uh, After filling out that sheet, how did you transfer the answers from that sheet into Claude?
Okay, so you can email yourself email the report to yourself. But I also realized that I didn't have this as a fillable part. So that's why I sent everybody the version that I have in the chat. So you can kind of use mine for now or change it up as you like. Okay, so do you have, so Lori asks, do you have to use the paid version? No, everyone has access to this setting, to the personal preference setting. Everyone has access to that. Yeah. Thanks, Jen. Okay, so now hopefully you've got some instruction in this personal preference area. And so I would love for you to put in that same prompt. Write a social media post about our new product launch. So hit new chat and say, write, oops, that's my chat history. Write a social media post about the new product launch. And then you should see it, a difference mine won't show it because I have my instructions already baked in. Mike says, totally appreciate what Ella's showing related to Claude. Just, just sharing that if you use ChatGPT primarily, you can personalize in ChatGPT as well if you weren't aware. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how we're going to do that with this set of instructions into ChatGPT. And I know all of you can chime in as well and give great information and advice around that too. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so I would love to hear from you what you thought about the difference now that you have some customized preferences in terms of how you want to communicate based on the framework that I shared. Anyone want to come off mute? My bad, just trying to be a team player. Of course, no worries. No worries. I know I'm very Claudette favored, and I know a lot of diehard ChatGPTers out there, and I don't want to ignore you all there. So I will definitely incorporate ChatGPT in this a little later. Yeah, so anybody want to share what the difference in their Claude output was? Did it make a big difference, or what kind of difference, or aha moments, or just anything that you want to share in relation to like the difference or what you've noticed? Lori says, I use ChatGPT a lot, but a lot of people are telling me that they like the outputs of Claude better when they're creating content. Yeah, it's better, in my personal opinion, and I've read a lot of other opinions on social media and articles that it is preferred for written content. Christy says, lots of laugh out loud, LOL for fun. I want to see if I can use this for Copilot. Let me know how it turns out. Please let me know. Van says, yeah, definitely more humanized. No, Sarah, I'm so sorry. Claude cannot create images. That's the only downfall. Yeah, not
I
yet.
haven't used Claude before. Does it offer the same API capability where you can infuse one of your trained chat agents, right? Like on a website or different things like that?
I know it has API capabilities. I don't know actually the actual answer to that. I got way better questions about what I want. Yes, nice, nice. If you skip to the end of your form, you can export your instructions as text. Thanks, Lisa. That's if you, yeah, if you, oh, great. So you're able to complete the framework section. Thank you. So Amanda says, I'm just catching up and I'm testing some posts. Good so far. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, good. So I would think, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you think it's an improvement, can you put a 1 in the chat? Thanks, Kathy. Good. Nicole, 1. Amanda, 1. Fantastic. Okay, and if you don't believe it is, that's okay. Hopefully, after you go through the worksheet or the web app and complete it more to your particular, brand, voice, persona, and whatnot, hopefully you do see a change. And again, it's an iteration, something that's not set in stone. So Mike's answering a question from Christy from ChatGPT. In short, yes, Claude offers a feature-rich, fully supported API with messaging, file handling, code execution, tool integration, search, and more. It's well suited for building smart AI agents tailored to your consulting, marketing, automation, and data-driven needs. So I feel, Mike, it's kind of equivalent to just using ChatGPT for in terms of API, the API keys. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to know that. That's why I asked chat.
Okay. Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I said chat GPT LOL. That was the answer
Gotcha.
that chat gave. It recommended Claude, let's just say. So
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, fantastic.
yeah.
Nice. Thanks for doing that. Lisa says one, I like what it wrote. Fantastic. Okay, so where is my PowerPoint? So now, where am I? Okay, so we're definitely going to need to, after this demo, refine and trace back to what instructions that we've changed. I personally like to keep a library of my instructions, my custom instructions, and every time I iterate, I save that as well and make notes about why I liked it or why I changed it. So it's just a good way to kind of keep track of why iterations were required. And if you had to go back, then they're there. I also had a situation where all my instructions were just erased. I don't know why. And so I was able to go back to my library and just copy and paste it back in. So it saves you hours and hours and hours of recreating the wheel. Okay, so there we go. Save your instructions as you iterate and clarify instructions that should be overridden. Okay, so I want to go through this part of Claude. Okay, so as I mentioned here, you can click on these two lines with circles in them and change the different styles depending on the context. So again, this will override what you have in your preferences or your custom instructions. And so again, if we're writing, say, an apology email or an email about a customer service issue that went wrong, we can go and hit explanatory. And if you click on what explanatory is, create and edit styles, explanatory is something that I'm going to give you an example, customer email, so that you can just kind of get an idea of what kind of tone it's using. And so, dear valued customer, we deeply regret. And then, of course, you can, if you don't like this style, you can create your own. That is something that is for a customer email that is about, receiving the wrong order or what have you that didn't go as planned. And these are the ones that I created. So I've got compassionate catalyst. So I'll just give you an example of what a customer email would look like. And here, we're here to make this right. And so this is more about, how I would do it because I did create this and edit this in a way that more resonates with my brand. And so feel free to customize yours. You can add a writing style here, or you can describe your style instead. And it kind of gives you some starting points, and or you can just hit customize your instructions instead. And if you do that, you can, kind of similar to what we did earlier in your profile section. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. Or you can have, you can describe it generally. There's just like just such a wide variety of ways that you can sort of like, change different tones depending on the situation. So this is another reason why I like this Claudette better than Chatty, because it's just so much more versatile and you can train it to your liking. Okay, so where do you add it if you're using ChatGPT? Okay, here we go. So in ChatGPT, we are going to go to the top right-hand corner where your profile is, and then personalize. Is that what Mike did? Yeah, Mike did that. Personalize. And right here, what traits should ChatGPT have? So I just put in, this is, a friendly, natural, casual tone, simple to understand, free of jargon. It's a little bit different from how I have it in Claudette because I don't use ChatGPT for the communications and the for written. But I do have ask me questions until you're 95% sure, play devil's advocate, do not always agree with me. And I think somewhere here I have, oh, maybe I don't have it here. Do not use, or make sure you use English. Oh, is this big enough? Do not use these words. So I will add some of the words that were in this chat today. I can copy and paste that for you too. Do not use these words. Ever evolving inquiries. because that's a dead giveaway that it's AI generated. Oops. Personalize. Okay, and then I should have here, maybe I don't. Okay, I should have here use Canadian English. Um, Definitely no emojis. Yeah, and then here I put down my ideal customer profile. Yeah, helping people save money and that sort of thing. So this is where you can play around with it in ChatGPT for those folks that love ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to say don't use Delve. And that long dash that you put in there. Yeah, did I put the dash? Yeah. Let's see if it listens. Yeah, give it a try, Jen. What else? I thought of another empowering. Okay, I like that. I will definitely keep that adjective in the worksheet. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up. So Lisa says, I put this in ChatGPT and it helps with prompt structure, photography, shot style, subject, action, ethnicity. Oh, I like that. Fashion, location, and emotion. It's a good prompt. Okay, fantastic. Any
Just
other
just a,
ChatGPTers that want to contribute
just
to?
a quick, just a quick question. Can this work the same way on mobile as well, or just on desktop?
Yeah, so if your user login is the same on mobile, it's this these traits and preferences and instructions that go onto mobile as well. It's based on your user login.
But you can only set it up on desktop. You can't set it up on mobile, right?
Oh, correct. Yes, that's right. Yeah, sorry. That's right. Yeah, you can only set it up on desktop. Any other questions? Okay, I would love to hear if, well, I mean, if I know you've got some questions maybe percolating, but in the meantime, yeah, just share with me in the chat what your aha moment was in the last 55 minutes. But anybody who's got questions, feel free to unmute or type in the chat.
No, my aha moment is discovering this last thing about customizing the GPT. I mean, it's almost like making a custom GPT without making a custom GPT. Uh, in this, what trait should ChatGPT have?
Yeah, you're right. It is almost like a customized chat GPT. Yeah, it's more personalized to your brand though, right? And so you could totally take it into, a customized version of a GPT and people can, just chat with you and discover you and learn a little bit more about you. Lori says this is cool, fantastic. Mike says need to experiment more with Claude. Kathy, a little bit of vulnerability here. She's embarrassed. I didn't even know I could personalize it with the free version. Yeah, yeah, playing around with it. Don't be embarrassed. Many people do not know. Lisa, this form really helped to write the instructions. I redid mine. Excellent workshop, Elle. Thank you, Lisa. And
It's
Amanda
brilliant.
says,
I just love that the clarity in the format. I love just working through it step by step and just breaking down the and just then clearly putting that in the instructions because I kind of yeah just help to break it down and the process is really nice. So I'm going to update mine now, literally again and refine it a bit further.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great to have a little bit of time to, just think about it and then a little bit of a framework and then, an area for you to, combine everything and then just transfer it over to your
Yeah.
LLM.
It was awesome. I love the form. That was super that you built that for everyone. It's like a super great exercise to work through step by step. I know Diane's got her hand up, but yeah, I think that was brilliant, Now, yeah.
Thank you. But thanks. So Jen says this is awesome. It gave me next steps for personalization. Woohoo! Thank you. Workshop helped to concise my persona so I could copy and paste. Okay. And Lisa says, what do you think about the usefulness of archetypes? Like, for instance, in branding archetypes.
Do you mean like,
Ooh.
oh, I'm a Myers-Briggs type XYZ, or I'm a like queen, I'm a creator or I'm an executor, and maybe that will come across in their tone. Is that what you mean, Lisa? Like, I think that's a nice layer to add because I've fed my personality and brand archetype, so it kind of leads with my not personality, but essentially like that might help reflect someone better and add another layer onto it, I think. Is that what you mean, Lisa? I think that would be pretty cool. Brand archetype, yeah, you creator, a magician, the archetype, the analyst, that sort of thing. Elle, have you tried?
Yeah, no.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I use archetypes all the time. I've been prompting with archetypes since I started with ChatGPT when it came out, what, like 3 years ago. So they are completely infused into all my different personas.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I do it by percentage. So my archetypes change based on what I'm doing, and I level the different percentages in my
Great.
persona.
I mean, I think that's next level. That's awesome.
Brilliant.
You can do the next workshop.
Yeah.
I told Amanda I was gonna write an article on it and do a workshop, but archetypes, and even if you have the same archetypes, just varying the percentages will vary your outputs as well. Yeah, and I have a document where I have nearly 100 archetypes that of all the different archetypes that you can work with.
Wow. Oh, I look forward to it.
That'd be
I
really
look
cool.
forward to this
I'd like to
workshop.
revisit that, Raquel, actually, because I did a workshop years ago about as a business, what fundamentally the archetype of the business as opposed to, and then us as an individual. Be nice to
Yes.
revisit that for she as
Yeah.
eyes archetype and then mine as well differently and see how that came out. It would be
Hmm.
really cool.
Yeah, because you can vary it on your business, who you're working with, and then also applying it to your audience.
Mm.
Mm.
So
So would
your own personal archetype and then the archetype of the language for your particular audience.
But you combine archetypes?
Yes, I combine, like, I have one persona where I have 12 archetypes, but they're varying percentages.
Cool.
Mm.
So, admittingly so, just to cut in, I can see this Zoom call later, correct? I'm praying I
Yes,
can.
it's a record. It will be recorded, guys. And for the community, everyone can get a replay. Yes, so definitely we can come back and revisit that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's just the golden hour of travel. So I'm definitely driving, and that's the golden hour for me, just in my East Coast time zone. So I'm just letting you know. But I appreciate these are recorded. And that way I can bother Miss. I could definitely bother everyone if I have to once I actually start playing with this. It's going to be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's keep the conversation going in our school community.
Yeah. So for everyone's notice, lots of new faces. So in our Shares AI school community, if you're not already on the school, jump in, search Shares AI. You can join in all our masterclasses and calls and classes like this and recordings are all in there. It's a super awesome community. It's growing by the day. Lots of AI experts, people learning and sharing advice, and we can jump in there and have a conversation, follow up and get taught tips and see how we're all doing with this. And yeah, it's a really cool space. So hopefully we could all jump in there and you can see the recording. I just think that was amazing. Ella got some more people with their hands up. Do you want to go, Diane? It was again.
Good.
No? Oh, we
But I
should.
already cut in, so I'm
You got
good.
it. It's all right. Just making sure everyone's spoken. But thank you so much for everyone for joining today. Oops, my video is off. And thank you for joining us. And I think this is amazing. And thank you so much to Elle for your expertise and just making that so clear and structured and just that step by step. That's brilliant. And I think we've all gone away with a happier brand voice already today, and hopefully a bigger conversation that we can keep having. So that was brilliant. I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for joining us and for all your questions. And yeah, I can't wait to see all you guys' amazing emails and social posts and content going forward. But yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone for
Very
coming.
much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
See you.
you.
Bye.
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 Great job.